We'll do the Premier's question now. And the first question this morning is from the opposition leader. Opposition leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Premier, demographic decline in a shrinking workforce, continued emigration, and a birth rate below replacement level represents Bermuda's greatest long-term challenge. What population does the government believe Bermuda requires to sustain our economy, healthcare system, public services, and what measurable strategy has been adopted to achieve this objective?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. In regards to the opposition leader's question, I cannot give him a figure off the top of my head. I know that there's been reports on this that were previously done. I think they were tabled in this House and debated in this House, so I'd ask the honourable member to refer to those reports.
Supplementary.
Supplementary. Would the Honorable Premier tell us that he does not have a target population for Bermuda to sustain its economy going forward?
Mr. Speaker, that's not what I said. What I said is that we've done reports on this particular matter, which have been tabled in this House, and I'd ask the honourable member to review those reports. He asked me for a figure off the top of my head, and I'm not going to give him a figure off the top of my head. There was research, there was work that was done on that, tabled in this House and debated in this House.
Sure. Supplementary or new question?
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. So the Honorable Premier and Finance Minister is not off the top of his head able to tell us what population Bermuda needs in order to sustain itself with its economy, considering what the major issue we have with a death rate that is above our population repopulation, and with the emigration that is continuing to have. This has to be one of the major things that he would be thinking about, so he should have a number that he could at least tell the population and the people in this House.
The report's done.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not entirely certain if there was a question in that, but the answer is the same as I gave before. There was the honourable member started in regards to a question related to population, et cetera, all the rest. I had said that the government has published reports and that those reports have been debated in the Honourable House. The honourable member can go ahead and refer to that.
Thank you. New question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Premier, throughout your premiership, you have spoken about economic diversification, yet Bermuda's economy remains overwhelmingly dependent on international business. Can the Honorable Premier tell Bermudians what sector or industry the government believes will drive Bermuda's economy over the next 20 years outside of international business?
Mr. Speaker, the government debated an entire economic development strategy inside of this Honourable House, and that particular matter was approved by this Honourable House. An economic development strategy lays out 5 particular pillars, deals with strengthening what we have and expanding what we have, and I'll ask the Honourable member to refer to that document, which was debated and passed and approved in this Honourable House.
Supplementary.
Supplementary. So would the Honorable Premier tell the House and the people of Bermuda whether he believes that any diversification in our economy has worked under his administration?
The answer, Mr. Speaker, is unquestionably yes.
Supplementary.
Yes, supplementary, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, could the Premier give the Honorable House and the public of Bermuda any indication of what that diversification is and what the positives that he can speak to, other than international business continues to be the pillar that is running everything in this country?
Mr. Speaker, the growth in financial services and expansion of financial services is important. The economic development strategy speaks to building on what we have and then expanding into other places, Mr. Speaker. So let's talk about economic diversification and what has taken place. We now recognize there's a $100 million project in Southside, recognizing from Google from the very beginning, where we spoke about the fact that we could have international and a technology part, Mr. Speaker, on matters related to financial services, the diversification of the financial services landscape, Mr. Speaker, with additional things which are coming, which we're related inside of the economic development strategy. On matters related for tourism, we have the largest tourism investment in this country's history. Significant additional matters that are related to tourism investment orders and investments into the country, Mr. Speaker. The economic development strategy lays out, we build on what we have. We also go to other sectors, and I think there's demonstrable progress in that. And if the honorable member will not accept that $100 million investment from Google on technology matters and other things on subsea cables is not diversification, which was clearly stated in the economic development strategy, then I'm not entirely certain what qualifies for him.
Third question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Premier, your government frequently highlights increases in pension, financial assistance, and other benefits as they increase the safety net that the middle class is falling into. Has the government measured whether the average Bermudian household has greater purchasing power today than when he first became the Premier?
Mr. Speaker, it is clear that wages are rising faster than inflation. That is what we've seen. We've seen median incomes come up. We've seen all the rest. We've seen the measures of which we take to increase purchasing power for persons as well. So it is important to note that over the time period, that is what we've seen, Mr. Speaker. In addition, whether it's from the public sector workers, in addition, whether it is the matters related to the reduction of taxes and making sure persons, the average Bermudian, Mr. Speaker, over the time of which we're in office, had paid $8,000 less in taxes. That is an average Bermudian. An average family means more than $15,000 less in taxes than we had when we came into office. We continue to make sure, whether it's pensions, whether it's boosting income levels for financial assistance, whether it's making sure that we have additional benefits that are available, whether it's expansion of child care so that persons who are making up to $130,000 have access to assistance in child care. We have made sure that we have supported persons across the board, Mr. Speaker, and on that we are going to continue to support persons across the board. Yes, let us not forget the minimum wage, and let us not also forget, Mr. Speaker, that we're doing another pension increase today. That is what we're doing, Mr. Speaker. It is about continuing to build on the record that this government has established.
Supplementary?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, outside of the people that have the ability to work in international business, the people in Bermuda that the Premier continues to refer to that he's giving more benefits to, are they the ones that are supposed to look at those increases and whether they match the increase in the cost of living? Are they able to say that they can survive better now compared to when the Premier took over as the leader?
Mr. Speaker, they left persons with the highest tax burden in history. We have cut taxes for working people. We have provided the boost. We provide the assistance. They told seniors the money doesn't grow on trees. We made sure they kept up with the rate of inflation, Mr. Speaker. So unquestionably, the record, Mr. Speaker, is better than when we took office.
Thank you. Yeah, second sub?
Second sub. So, Mr. Speaker, I guess the Premier is stating for the population that are listening that the benefits that he is giving are making them feel that they are better off today than when it started, because the cost of living, the cost of food and electricity and health care, the burdens of everyday people, he is saying that his government has made all of those people feel better over the last 8 years.
Mr. Speaker, I could honestly answer this question for the next 22 minutes. I'm not going to, because I can go through the entire gamut, Mr. Speaker. So when we want to talk about compare and contrast, let's start on item number one, the issue of gas prices, Mr. Speaker. What we have been through during our time in office has been two major gas spikes. And when that party doubled taxes on gasoline, it was this party's fiscal discipline and management of the budget that enabled us to eliminate the taxes on gasoline and keep in a price freeze to make sure that people were protected from the pump. Now let's go over the honorable member is just sitting there chirping when he knows that it is completely not factual. So let's go on to electricity prices, Mr. Speaker. Let's move on to electricity prices. Whereas they doubled the price, the taxes on gasoline, Mr. Speaker, they don't want to hear the question. So when they talk, I will stop until they stop to listen.
Speak to me. Members, you want to hear, you ask a question, you want to hear the answer. We got to hear the answer. Continue, Premier.
So here we are, Mr. Speaker. So on the matter related to electricity taxes. The honorable members, the honorable party opposite, doubled the tax on electricity, Mr. Speaker. This party, through our fiscal discipline, eliminated that tax entirely, Mr. Speaker, making sure that savings were passed on to persons. I can go on to payroll taxes again to make sure that we recognize that persons who are making under $132,000 a year are paying less in taxes, meaning that there's more money in their pockets, Mr. Speaker. Shall we go on to the other matters that are related to assistance for families? I've spoken about childcare, Mr. Speaker. I've spoken, Mr. Speaker. I'm fine, but it's as though if they forget the record, Mr. Speaker. It's as though if they don't want to recognize the particular matters that have been progressed forward, Mr. Speaker. It is amazing. So when we talk about these things, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member wants to say that payroll tax changes, that pension increases, that record agreements with public sector workers to go back to historic pay levels, which will reduce underneath their term in office, don't matter. But guess what, Mr. Speaker? They do matter. They do matter to the persons in this country. They do matter to the persons who are working in construction. They do matter to those persons who are working in construction, Mr. Speaker, who may be on average salaries, who would have been paying $8,000 less taxes in the time that we've been in office than if it was the opposite party, Mr. Speaker. When you put more money into people's pockets, it gives them more ability to do. And what are we doing otherwise, Mr. Speaker? Record investments in affordable housing, of which you've seen from the Honorable Deputy Premier. We are going to continue to expand, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue to press ahead. And we are able to do this because of our sound management of the budget. We can go back to the first question that he asked, Mr. Speaker, because the first question he asked was about economic diversification. We tabled an economic recovery plan. We tabled an economic development strategy. We are executing on those particular matters. And, Mr. Speaker, we're continuing to press ahead.
Thank you. Opposition Leader, you've used all three of your questions. The next member who indicated they have questions today is MP Weeks. Would you like to put your question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. Mr. Speaker, few issues matter more to Bermudians than the security of a place to call home. Those of us like myself that out there canvassing, we receive a lot of calls about housing and how can we assist as members of parliament. So can the Honorable Premier tell this House how this government is delivering on its commitment to provide affordable housing for the people of Bermuda?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank the honorable member for his question. I wish to also take the opportunity to pay tribute to the time in which he served and worked as Minister of National Security, and recognizing that he can, are you okay? And continues to be a valued member of the government benches. Mr. Speaker, I thank the honorable member for his question because housing, as we recognize and understand, is not an abstract issue. And for the Bermudians to find a safe and stable place to live, whether young families can plan their future or whether seniors can live and remain secure in their country. What we'll recognize, Mr. Speaker, and I think it's important to contrast, the record of delivery on housing over the last 5 years, Mr. Speaker. We can even go longer than that. Over the record. Oh, the honorable member wants to go to 30 years? Oh, they want to go to 30 years, Mr. Speaker? They want to talk about Laughlin's. They want to talk about Southside. They want to talk about all those other housing developments. We can go back there, Mr. Speaker, because we recognize what they have not done. But let's go, Mr. Speaker. A few weeks ago,
Talk to the chair. Listening audience is on the radio is waiting to hear your answer.
Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, the government outlined a comprehensive multi-site plan to invest an estimated $150 million into the delivery of 229 residential units across Bermuda. We know that those particular matters are being advanced. In addition to that, and we know that we're going to see is advanced precast concrete construction that is going to take place, whether or not those are properties in the east end of the island and also the west end of the island. But, Mr. Speaker, the reality is that is part of a much wider effort. That is just the latest phase. We know about the significant number of units that are being renovated and brought back into use, whether it be at Harmony, whether it be in various places. And in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, and this is what's important. This is what is also important, Mr. Speaker. It's important to recognize that it is multifaceted. So whether or not we're talking about housing for seniors, whether or not we're talking about housing for young people, whether or not we're talking about housing for families, all of these matters are being progressed by the Deputy Premier and the Bermuda Housing Corporation to ensure that we can. The Honorable Deputy Premier said and promised that we're going to put out an affordable housing strategy to make sure we advance those particular matters. We are, and that is what's important, Mr. Speaker, because housing, just as it is in Bermuda, Mr. Speaker, is an issue globally. And from our perspective, we are going to continue to work and make policies that are going to make sure that more housing is available for Bermudians.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thanks for that, Mr. Premier. Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Premier advise what this program will mean specifically for my constituents and families in the central parishes?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I can speak on matters related to the Central Parish that we've completed new units at Harmony Terrace and delivered homes in Middletown as well. But what I can say, Mr. Speaker, is globally, whether or not it is in the east end of the island at Tommy Fox Road in St. David's, where new homes are being built as part of the first 84-unit phase at Channel House, where we're doing retrofitting as well, specifically for senior living. As you know, that senior living is a challenge. And what's important, Mr. Speaker, as you recognize, is as you expand housing supply, persons can move from one place into something that's more available, which might create additional supply in other places. So that is also important, Mr. Speaker. At Battery Road, the Chelsea Apartments, that are other places in the east that are also being done, that are being renovated and breathed back to use to families that need them. So whether it's in the east end of the island, Mr. Speaker, was the central end of the island, or whether it's the west end of the island, we are continuing to advance on affordable housing projects under the leadership of the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and thank you. Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Premier remind this House how this government's record on delivering homes for Bermudians compares to that of the former administration?
Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Honourable Member to repeat his question? There's too much chirping.
Member, could you repeat your question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Premier remind this House how this government's record on delivering homes for Bermudians compares to that of the former administration?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I thank the Honourable Member. I thank the Honourable Member for his
Point
question.
of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order?
Yeah, the honourable member, unfortunately, is misleading us. He already answered that in the questions before that. He's already answered it. He did the comparison as to what he thought we did and what they did. He already did it. In addition to that, the housing minister has already put that in the public domain and answered the same question, the exact same question. To ask for a reminder is duplicitous.
Members, when asking questions, be mindful of the fact that if the information is already in public domain, you're limiting the question, the answer, the person who answers in what they can say.
Mr. Speaker, I note that the Honourable Member has asked for a comparison. And I think that it's important, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member is misleading the House. I did not ask for a comparison. I said that the comparison has already been made.
He was talking about the number with the question.
And Mr. Speaker?
No, that's all right, that's all right.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member has asked for a comparison, and I think it is incredibly appropriate.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order?
The comparisons, the comparisons are in the public domain because they were provided by comprehensive briefs from the housing minister in prior sittings. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member has asked for a comparison. And when we talk about a comparison in housing policy from the former government to this government, it could not be more stark, Mr. Speaker. It couldn't be more stark because what we have seen, Mr. Speaker, since the pandemic is record investment in affordable housing. Hundreds of units that have been brought online, that have been renovated, persons that are being able to get affordable housing options. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, it is not just where it's talking about house building. Let us not forget it was was this particular government that not only expanded the capability for Bermudians to get houses through the Mortgage Guarantee Program, which has delivered multiple Bermudians being able to own their first home, reduce mortgage rates, reduce down payments as well. Those are the measures of which this government has done, Mr. Speaker. And so it is very interesting to see from a contrast perspective, whether it was this Minister of Housing, whether it was a minister who had responsibility for housing before, the investment that has been made into Bermuda Housing Corporation has been at record levels, which has seen hundreds of units that have been delivered. What did they deliver when they're in office, Mr. Speaker? They finished one progressive Labour Party project that they downsized, that they then criticize now because they didn't downsize any more housing, Mr. Speaker. And then for the rest of their time, they delivered not a single affordable home, Mr. Speaker. The record of zero versus the record of hundreds. It's a very appropriate, and we will continue to make sure that the people of this country recognize and remember which government is going to deliver affordable housing and is committed to putting the money to do so. Oh yes, Mr. Speaker, let me not forget the money in which they canceled those houses, we still have to pay money for it.
Mr. Speaker, standing point of order.
Point of order.
Standing order 1911F, improper motive. The Premier knows that the reason the OBA had to cancel those projects is because they were left with a massive deficit, which they had to borrow money just to pay the civil servants. So they did not want to cancel housing. They wanted to pay the civil servants. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That completed the questions from MP Weeks. The next question this morning is from the actual member who just sat down. MP Dakuda, would you like to put your question now?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Premier will recall that there is in the budget was a $14 million quote-unquote centrally managed fund that did not have any specific projects allocated to it or identified. Have any specific projects yet been identified and selected or approved to be funded by those funds? Thank you.
Premier?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. To my knowledge, I believe there's been one approval, two approvals, one for matters related to entrepreneurship and for the BEDC, advancing national entrepreneurship policy, and the other one is matters related to artificial intelligence. Happy to get these specific details to the honorable member. Was planning on discussing those particular matters when we did the supplementaries next week.
Supplementary?
Yes. Could the minister advise what the amounts were and how the amounts were determined and approved? Thank you.
It was amounts that were requested by the particular ministries. I don't have those figures off the top of my head. I do know that out of the total $14 million, we have not even come close to half or something. But as I said, we're discussing supplementary estimates next week. I was expecting to make sure that those particular details were shared at that particular point in time. But happy to get the specific details to the honorable member. As matters related to finances, et cetera, are perfectly legitimate matters for scrutiny in this House and have no issue sharing those.
Sure. Second sub or, okay. The next question this morning is from the Opposition Whip. Opposition Whip, would you like to put your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, Premier. Considering housing is on the docket this morning, would the Premier consider the fact that 79 units were built at Grand Atlantic for residential homes by the PLP government? 79 units were built for residential housing. It has become a basketball of what should it be. Does the Premier believe that that was a wise investment, wasting taxpayers' money to have it for residential, as they talk about building all of these homes, and they had the opportunity to put 79 units in place and to put Bermudians into it? We are now, years later, bringing in housing.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order.
The honourable member is misleading the House by not acknowledging the impact that the OBA had on the project when the government was trying to move it forward by saying it was going to fall into the ocean, that people shouldn't be able to live there, and then used it for...
Okay.
That is not a point of order. Thank you very much. It didn't even finish the question. He's trying to finish it for me.
Yeah, what's your question?
So, Well, now that he said that, considering the fact that this PLP government wasted millions of dollars for residential homing to then put it into a project for a hotel that blew up like dynamite, to now trying to decide, and it's still not full, Mr. Speaker, could the
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. The honorable member's misleading the House. I said in this House last week in my ministerial statement that is 100% full.
Thank you. But this was not for low cost. It's for people who can afford it. They built those original homes for people who needed low cost housing. So you can't hide behind the fact that now you're charging $3,000 for a unit for people, foreigners, who can afford to rent it. So was that a good investment in the taxpayers' money by the PLP government?
Okay, that's your question. The question was it a good investment?
Mr. Speaker, that was possibly the longest question I've ever heard asked in this House, and so I'm happy. I'm happy to answer the question, Mr. Speaker, because let's look back at the history. And I think it's important to remember the history, because this project that was built over the exact same successful model that has delivered a significant amount of affordable housing at Laughlin's. Let's remember, it was the exact same model, different property, same developer, same Bermuda Housing Corporation, same thing, etc. When those properties went up there, Mr. Speaker, it was the one Bermuda line, I think at that point in time was the United Bermuda Party. And it, switched, maybe it was the BDA, and then, morphed into what's it called? So it's all three. The combined opposition at that point in time, Mr. Speaker, then said, Mr. Speaker, and I quote, as we all know, these things will fall into the water. They will not be safe. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is quite rich for those individuals to then wonder why persons didn't want to buy houses when they sat there and said they're going to fall into the water. But let us continue, Mr. Speaker, because it's important to remember that when they became the government, and this member may have actually been, they then decided that after scaring people, so they could not then sell the houses, they decided that they were going to change their project. So that's fine. The project was changed, and it was, however, and that's important to note, Mr. Speaker. It's important to note that the project, it would not be safe, but yet they managed to find a way to house America's Cup people inside of those particular units. I digress, Mr. Speaker. Let us move forward, Mr. Speaker. So we get to the political perspective. There is a view trying to make sure that we make the numbers and the figures work. And so there was a view and a proposal to move forward on matters related to the conversion of that particular property to a matter of a hotel property. Went through that. All those things have been spelled out and shared here in this particular honorable House, debated many points in time. Where we got to is that we said, at the end of the day, with the things that were happening, we need to make another change. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, good governments observe where they have their particular situations and make adjustments where it's necessary. Here's reality, Mr. Speaker. Number one, the units are fully rented. Number two, they are not all rented at market rates. There are units that are rented at discounted rates for Bermudians that are returning home, which is important, Mr. Speaker, because we are making sure that we use everything at our avenue and disposal to ensure that we will continue to house Bermudians. So the honorable member has asked a question as to whether or not this made sense. I would say at the very beginning, the investment was sound as it was built off the exact same model that delivered significant affordable housing at Laughlin's. And if it was not for the sabotage of the opposition at the time, we wouldn't probably not be having this conversation and debate at this time.
Thank you.
Supplemental.
Supplementary?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, you have a supplementary.
Yes. So then, considering the answer that
If your question could be a little shorter,
considering the answer that the Premier has just given, would the Premier consider it to be duplicitous and somewhat hypocritical that if he says that the OBA said it was going to fall in the water, after the OBA was governed, they had a second shot at this property, and they continued on to make it a hotel. He's blaming us for making it a hotel, but he continued to make it a hotel. Is it duplicitous that he did not go back to his original design by the PLP government to put Bermudians in affordable housing
Mr.
by
Speaker,
continuing
can I
to
have
put
a
in a
point of
hotel?
order?
What's your point of order?
My point of order is that just for memory's sake, I was the minister in 2011. Allow me to give the point of order.
Wait. I want to hear what the point of order is.
It's misleading the House, Mr. Speaker. And I had the facts. I was that minister in 2000. There you know. I was there. So when the PLP returned to power, it was difficult telling our people about the low-cost housing.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. This is a point of clarification. We are not accepting a point of clarification.
The point of order was that you were the minister. That's all I got out of that. So what was the point of order that you were trying to do rather than go to a long statement? I'm trying to get a statement. Okay. You want to?
It was misleading the House, Mr. Speaker.
Let the Premier respond. I think the Premier was ready to respond.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable member has asked whether or not the project should have been changed or not changed, Mr. Speaker. The reality is right now, Bermudians are currently being housed at that property. There are those that are there below market rents. We are using everything at our disposal while also, Mr. Speaker,
Thank you.
providing record investments in
Thank you.
affordable housing across this country.
Thank you. Members, that brings us to the close of the 30 minutes for the Premier's question.